Well, it's Thursday, April 17, 2025, about 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm Todd Dunn, and today I'm back in the boat shed on board Seaquestor, my 1973 Allied Princess 36. Okay, here is this piece that I repaired on Tuesday. Hopefully the epoxy in there is fully set by now. And the plan today is to open up the next little bit forward and cut out the top of the deck and remove the bad core. And the plan and then I'll hopefully tomorrow I will do the repair, put new core in. And after that, the plan will be to work forward of there up toward the bow, basically work up to the end of the non-skid and replace the core up there. I suspect that I've gotten a fair amount of water into the core from the two chain hose pipes there and that vent. Those have been there basically since the boat was built. Years ago, I removed them and opened up the edge of the core and filled it with thickened epoxy, but I'm not sure it held up. And I suspect there's been some leaking there, and that is probably where a good deal of the water came from. And then I've got the cleats. Now, I put those cleats there, but between those cleats there used to be the original aluminum cleat that was on the boat, which I removed and glassed up the holes. I suspect that cleat was leaking over the 30 years or so that it was in there before I put the new stainless steel cleats in. When I put those stainless steel cleats in, I over-drilled the holes, filled them with epoxy, and then drilled them again. So there shouldn't have been any leaking into the core from those cleats. But we'll find out. And then there's the windlass. I put the windlass in, maybe 15 years ago. And I did go around it and remove core and put in thickened epoxy around the hole for the windlass. And we'll find out if that worked. So next year, the plan will be to remove all the hardware from the front of the deck and open that up from where this repair today will end all the way up there. So that's going to be a bigger job. Just taking the hardware off is going to be a pain because that is in the chain locker forward and access to the chain locker is not great. So anyway, that's the plan. When I cut open the deck here a week or so ago, it took me over 2 hours. And I didn't finish removing all the bad core because my saw blades gave up on me. But I've got new saw blades now which cut through the core like butter. So this should go a lot more quickly today. Anyway, I'm going to quit talking and stalling and get to work. Okay, what I've done here is I've laid out the foam core. It's not exactly where it was, and then I marked around it where I'm going to make my cuts. So that's the piece I plan to lift out and replace. So, next step is to get the oscillating saw out and make the cuts. So this shouldn't take too long, just maybe 10 minutes. And then pry that up, and any core that's still bonded to the lower skin, I will cut off, and then we'll clean everything up, and that will be that for today. Well, the cut's made, and I think that's going to come up pretty easily, except for the forward outboard end, about 10 inches, which is about 40% of the length. Other than that, I think it's going to pry up pretty well. I'm about to find out. I may have to make a little bit more of a cut on the inboard end of this panel. I should explain why I'm doing this in such small panels. It's really pretty straightforward. The reason is that basically I want, the deck has quite a bit of curvature, and if I removed all 4 of these panels, a big area like that, which I could have done, the inner skin is pretty flimsy, and I don't want to have it deform while I'm doing the layup, and you know, that just would have been a much higher probability than it is cutting out these little panels where the rest of the deck retains its shape and strength. So anyway, we'll pry this guy out and see just how bad the core under it is. Okay, the panel's up. That took maybe 8 or 10 minutes. The areas on the right-hand side of the image was still bonded down. I had to basically delaminate it. Where it's dark is where the bad core was. And next step is to cut all that core that's still stuck down out, and then we'll just let it dry out until tomorrow, when I can come over here with pre-cut fiberglass and everything and get this all replaced. The part of the deck that I've redone is rock solid. It looks like I still have some wet core going forward, which will be the next phase, probably maybe this summer, most likely starting in the fall after haul out. Well, just before I start taking that bad core out, I thought I'd mention that right now I'm 35 minutes in from the time I got here, and I expect this to take about another half hour. So the biggest limitation I have in doing this, it's not particularly hard work, is my right leg. I still have the pain issues with it, and I do have to work kneeling here. That's what this cushion is for. So yeah, it's not very comfortable. So I'm trying to work in sort of 5 to 10 minute segments, and then take a break before I kneel again. So anyway, I've got to get this cut out, and then it'll be ready to dry out. And tomorrow when I come back, assuming I do come back tomorrow, I will clean it up a little bit, sand it, wipe it down with acetone, and then start laying up fiberglass. So that's that. Now, removing this core is taking longer than I thought. I'm about 20 minutes in, probably have 15 minutes to go. The wet core was easy, came right up, but this dry stuff is much harder. And the saw tends to cut up into it, leaving me with a thin layer that I'll have to cut off in a second pass. But anyway, I'm getting there. As you can see, I've not got a lot left. Just taking a break to let my knee recover from being bent, and then I'm gonna have back at it. So, time to quit stalling. Well, that took half an hour. I did it in 3 installments. And what I'm going to do now is vacuum it out, and if there are any little thin layers of core material that I need to cut off, I'll cut them off, and then clean it up again. And at that point, we'll be pretty much done with the cutting, and I'll be about ready to go home. So I've been here about an hour and 10 minutes now. Well, that's vacuumed up. All the dark areas are where it was wet. So what I still have a few spots where there's a little bit of core adhering, so I'm going to have to cut that out, vacuum it again, and we'll be done. I've already trimmed all the core off the back of the deck panel I cut off. So I'm almost done, maybe another 10 minutes, including cleanup. So I'll get that done and be finished for today. Well, that's done. It's all cleaned up. And I've even taken the main bulk of my trash off, which I'm going to throw away. Tomorrow, after this has had overnight for the fiberglass to dry off, I will sand it. Maybe do a little bit more trim with the oscillating saw. And then we will glue up the new core and put the deck down. What will remain after that is to open up the seams a little bit and put some fiberglass in them. Let that cure out, sand the whole area flat, and then I'm going to put some Kiwi Grip non-skid over this area just for this year. And we'll see how it goes. Or maybe I'll just paint it since I do have more work to do up there. Anyway, it's coming along, slowly but surely. And the fact that the water seems to be draining back along the center line is consistent with what I have found so far. So what I've got to do is get stuff off the boat and go home and have some lunch. I have now been here, let me see, 1 hour and 20 minutes. And that included filming. So it's about an hour and 15-minute job to do this, which is much better. The previous panel, because my saw blades were really dull, took over 2 hours, about 2.5 hours. So an hour faster, and I had maybe even a little more decent core to pull out. So there's the core that's going in. I'm going to take that home and use it to pattern the fiberglass. And tomorrow, hopefully, if not tomorrow, Monday, I'll glue it up. I don't know if I want to do it tomorrow. I have to drive my wife into the city on Saturday for a doctor's appointment, and I don't want my back to be sore, so I may put off finishing this until Monday, which will give that a little extra time to dry out. Okay, that's it. So that's the last of the 4 blocks of material I am doing up. So what's this going to end up costing me? Well, with core and epoxy and fiberglass, I'm probably in this for a bit over $200 so far. And about, probably about 12 hours of my labor. So yeah, if I was hiring it done, probably would have cost me $1,000 or more for labor plus the materials. So it'd be about a $1,200 job. Doing it myself, probably going to cost me about $250 to $300. So anyway, time to go home and have some lunch. Thanks for watching.